lice isn't necessarily a joyful one, but it is a very important one because it does affect kids at a very young age, and it's very common, especially in school. So today, Fransa Katz, our PnP Pharmasist, is here to shed more light on the causes and the cures available to us. Good morning, Fransa. How are you?
I'm well. Yourself?
Very, very well, thank you.
Good.
So like I said, head lice is very, very important. But firstly, how does one get it and what causes it?
Head lice, it's a little parasite that lives on the scalp, actually attaches to the bottom part of the hair on the scalp, and they feed off tiny bits of blood off the scalp. You normally find that kids at school tend to get head lice, because what happens is the lice can move when heads are close together from one head to the other. So usually when kids are at school, they tend to be close. Also, they tend to share a comb or a brush. And then, of course, when they come home and sleeping on bedding, that's how the lice will move from one person to the other.
Now, I know that especially in things like creches and, like you said, where you share very close spaces, you can catch it quite easily. And I remember being in school, they would make us stand in a line and the teacher would always check with the pencil to make sure that we don't have it. But can it be avoided? And if not, how does one treat it?
It's not really, you can't really avoid it. There's nothing you can put on your hair to prevent you getting it. Obviously, especially from school-going age or creches, it's important for parents to check the children's hair and see. You normally don't see the little lice itself. The lice actually, they lay little eggs, which we call nits, and these little larvae and eggs are attached to the shaft of the hair. And by checking their children's hair regularly, and then of course the minute they see something, to then use specific shampoos, etc., because having head lice has got nothing to do with cleanliness. It's just a parasite that is picked up.
Yeah, and I think that that was kind of the stigma at school as well. If you had it, then it was like a disease. But it's not. It can be treated. Okay, now talking about treatments, what is available at the pharmacy for us to use if we do find we have it?
There are quite a few different types of shampoos and lotions that you can use. It's so important to speak to one of our pharmacists to find out, because it's which one you should use, how often you should use it, and exactly how to use it, because you're actually using an insecticide on the scalp, so you cannot overuse it. It can become dangerous. So there are things available. Usually they would give you a little comb. I don't know if you've seen that, if they had it at school, with very fine little bristles, and that is to actually comb the nits out from the scalp. Also important not to wash the hair before you use the specific shampoo for lice, and not to dry with a hairdryer, because some of the stuff can be a bit inflammable. So it's not a matter of just getting something and washing and that's it. You've got to actually be very careful when you use it and make sure you use it. If you use it the correct way, there's no problem. You don't have to be scared that it'll affect your child, but important to use it as your pharmacist would prescribe and advise you.
Well, thank you so much, Fransa. There we go. Like if any parents find that their kids do have it, then of course you've given us some great ways to take care of it.
And they can also, if they're not sure, because if you haven't really seen it often, then you're not always sure whether it is head lice or not. If you notice your child is scratching her head a lot, you can come down to our pharmacies. We have our nursing sisters there who would gladly have a look for you and make sure whether your child has head lice or not.
And of course, if your child maybe does have head lice, Fransa's given you some really perfect tips on how to deal with it.
Goodness can be found in encouraging greatness at the Junior Runners Academy in Soweto. PnP, always there for you.